Yeah, good morning, everyone. I think I'm one of the few speakers that will give you the presentation in English today, so that the international audience also gets a nice overview of what we're doing. I will talk today a bit about our accelerated digitalization initiative DHL supply chain. I've got about 30 minutes, 25 with questions to outline how we scale automation and robotics within our division. So in terms what's in it for you, I will briefly talk about our division DHL supply chain, then give you a sneak peek into our structured approach of accelerated digitalization and automation, and then finally the most interesting part, jump into a few of our implementations, give you some videos on mobile robotics that we've already implemented and scaled across the globe. All right, starting with who we are. So we're DHL Supply Chain, one of the 5 divisions in the DHL group. So most often the question I got yesterday is, aren't you part of the parcel division and the Deutsche Post? Aren't you delivering the parcels? No, we're not. We're doing contract logistics, so we're the largest provider globally. We are, you can see the numbers on the screen, 50 countries globally, 180,000 associates. With many more robots growing in there, over 2K warehouses where we're implementing solutions. And it's really all about leveraging our unique scale globally to bring our technologies into our sites. So let's have a quick look on what it actually looks like. Yeah, so that was a sneak peek already onto a few of the videos that I'm showing later on. Just maybe, hopefully not too dry part. So why are we actually doing all of that? I think the overall trends and disruptive trends are not unique to our business itself, but across the globe. So ever-increasing customer experience on expectations. So ideally, as a customer, I would like to have my product delivered yesterday, free of charge, and any kind of flavor with free return. So that makes our processes in the warehouses slightly more complex. We have to add new value-added services internally, but also be quite sustainable on that. Labor shortage, everybody knows that it's a mix of increased wages, but also with the aging population, especially in the Western countries, that we see the need to go more into robotics. We don't have enough warehousing space. I think all of us have the same problem. And the technology pace, I think, is more of a positive trend, especially with the Gen AI, for example, is one of the reason one that everyone is aware. So we are getting pushed to implement more technologies at a faster rate and bring these really to life. So how do we do that? That's our probably not so unique, because I think many out there have a funnel approach, but that's our accelerated digitalization and automation funnel. I'm responsible for everything on the left-hand side, so research and proof of concept. We then go into productization, where we have 12 product development manager for key technologies that I will show you on the next slide. And then we have solutions that we scale globally. Once they get into the final phase, I think Locus Robotics is one of the good examples here. what makes our program successful? It's three things. So the first one here, that's structure, right? So we established the structure many years ago, 2017. I will come to that again later on. And without that structure across the globe, I sit in Bonn, but I work closely with our regional and country champions together to bring then the technologies into the warehouses. So structure really is key. Then move it to productization, and then finally try to scale it across the globe as best and as quickly as possible. So that's the first success criteria. And the second one, very important, also we brought it up yesterday into the panel discussion, is focus. And I think focus is something that if you want to go into mobile robotics, if you're new, maybe early on in your automation strategy, then you need to define what are the pain points in your business, what are the operational processes that you want to improve. And we did that in 2017, so we have 12 different digitalization key technology areas, plus 6 for automation. I didn't bring them on here because they're not mobile. But key here is that these technologies, we didn't just draw them up by gut feel and someone saw something cool on a summit. But they're based on our operational data. So we have a very good visibility on how much time do we spend per operational activity globally. You can see the top 3 are obviously picking, put away, and unloading. So of course, one of the first solutions that we implemented was on assisted picking robots, just to improve that process. And using that data, we continuously improve these technology categories, see where we can add more. Sometimes things get moved around from one or the other, but it's always based on data. So that is focus. And if we come to the next one, focus, how do we really achieve that? So, of course, we have an internal page where we listed all our products and solutions in a digital warehouse, so to speak, where our operational leaders across the globe can look into what did we deploy in Germany, in France, or wherever. We have a very good understanding of the technology portfolio, who are the players there, who are the vendors, what do they deliver, what are some sample projects around the globe. But then the key one for me is this map, and as I zoomed in here. So we have a clear visibility on where do we deploy our projects globally. So I can zoom on any part of the world, and I can see per technology category, how many locust robots have we deployed, how many wearables, what's the status, are we just planning? And that's for the product deployment, and I've got the same for innovation. So as soon as I'm talk to quite a few interesting startups here yesterday and today, so they will go into our research overview that then my colleagues from North America, for example, can have a look inside and see the vendor in the research phase, and then have this data available for all of my colleagues. So very powerful tool for us because it makes our discussions also with our senior management much easier if we have data backing us up. Talking about senior management, we are very fortunate, I think, that we had the buy-in into our program from the very beginning. So 2017 founded, and we're very quickly able to scale it. So our CEO, Oscar de Bock, once said that innovation is always quite nice to do, but unless you scale it, it's just a nice idea. So I'm looking always at solutions that don't only make sense in Germany or in Scotland or somewhere, but it needs to work in more than one country, in more region, and the vendor also needs to deliver that. So it's a production and the ability to scale. And you can see, where these are the numbers from end of September, 7,400 projects globally, already achieved growing. So we're targeting, I think, just short of 8K this year. So we are on the path there. So the 3 success criteria really are focus, structure, and pace. And that's how we got to our implementations. So that was the hopefully not so dry part on more of how do we approach it, who we are, And now I'm jumping into a few videos and show you some of the implementations. So already said earlier, 35% of our time is done on picking. So we initially started with assisted picking robots, so Locus Robotics, they're in the other hall, a few of them driving around. We got roughly 3,000 of them already deployed. We celebrated our 500 millionth pick with them this summer in Spain in an IKEA site. I think it was a pillow that was picked. So it's really a good solution that we were able to scale into pretty much every region of the world. So I think it's always a prime example of a vendor that was successful internally and externally, and it just grew with a product that worked and then developed into other areas where they see more potential. The benefits that are listed on the left-hand side, they're a bit more generic for the assisted picking robots in general. 35% maybe more for the Locus. We also do work with others, of course. So this is from an implementation in North America. This is Robust AI with their robot called Carter. Looks different form factor, maybe looks slightly more simple, more basic, but has the latest computer vision technology in there. So very quick implementation time into the project, very easy mapping of the warehouses, and also very positive feedback from the operations where it's running. Got a few of them running in North America currently, and continue to bring that into other regions once we grow there. Final solution on assisted picking robots is one from UK and I, also one of our key regions. So this is Six Rivers Robotics, similar form factor to the one from Robust. We have a number of deployments with them already. Makes the life of our operators much easier, less error rate because it's easy to scan the correct item, bring it to where it needs to be, and really positive feedback. Also decreases the training time because it's very intuitive to use that. So this is assisted picking robot. So just a few examples here. When we look at the next category, it's what we call in supply chain indoor robotic transport. So initially, when you saw the categories, they contained many other of the robotic solutions as well, but because we differentiated and went into one of them a bit more detailed, we have this category mainly with autonomous reach trucks and another solution on the next page. So yeah, I think the benefits are pretty much clear because it can work pretty much around the clock. It reduces error rates, inventory accuracy is improved, safety is significantly increased because you don't have pallets dropping on other people's head if the MHE driver doesn't, has a bad day and has an accident, which we obviously don't want, but significantly reduces that. Works very well in North America for now. We're getting it into other regions. And yeah, so I think that was a solution from Crown, were very well implemented. And the other one that we are showcasing here, they've got some very good crepes with Nutella, by the way, if you go past their stand. So that's the low-pad solution for Rico that we've implemented with the printing, so picking up the containers. Nicely branded for us, obviously nice for these videos, but it's a good and quick solution that we implemented. Again, reduces error rates and just makes the life of our operators in these facilities much easier. So these were the two examples that I brought for indoor robotic transport. Now I'm jumping into container unloading. So that was the third category on the labor hours, if you remember from the first one. You had a sneak peek in the first video, so that's a Boston Dynamics stretch. Later on I will quickly talk about how we develop it together with Boston. So there was a big need to jump into that topic. Operational, very hard process to get these structured loose loads. So we differentiate between loose loads, so cartons and similar within a truck, and pelletized good. So that's a solution for loose load. So we went into the development with Boston Dynamics, and I think the market showed us that it was the right way to go. This year I was in Atlanta in Modex at the fair there. I think there were 8 or 9 copycat of the solution already, trying to mimic that, not only from China, but also a few from the US. So there are alternatives coming to the market, which also pushes Boston Dynamics to improve their product. And we've seen more implementation for this in North America. I know the Otto Group is also successfully bringing that to Europe, which is nice because we can see that our product really works. That was loose load. We also do that with pelletized load. There are not numerous, but a few vendors that can do that around the globe. One of them is Fox Robotics in North America, and that's where they have their key business, and that's where they're currently focusing on. So this is autonomous unloading and loading of trucks. Very good solution in a way that, again, it reduces the burden on our associates. It is helping us a lot in the organization of the areas of the bay as well. What you can see here is actually quite interesting because we also talked yesterday in the panel about the collaboration between humans and mobile robotics. So this is one example, and also the Boston Dynamics stretch where we actually have to have a fenced-off areas because for safety reason to make sure that the robot can work as intended. Time is ticking, but I think I'm quite well in time with only a few slides remaining. So just wanted to briefly, I brought this one, was not only to make a point of how we developed, but more to bring up the discussion on the need to understand your product, so to the vendors out there. So we initially started the partnership with Boston Dynamics in 2018, and then together with them developed the first prototype of trying to pick up parcels in the warehouse, which is the handle, so the ostrich-looking thing that simply just didn't work. So Boston Dynamics had the idea that this could work. We thought maybe not, but then together we went on the journey to develop really from a problem-based, so our problem, we have the containers that need to be unloaded, and together we then developed this proper prototype that we tested for the first time 21, 22, first deployment in the industry last year in the US, and now scaling with us and others. But the key point really is we had, of course, several discussions with Boston Dynamics, and they also have, some of you might know, their cute little dog that runs around. That was a product that they developed because they thought, hey, we can do that, but they didn't have really a clue on what problem it was solving. So sometimes we have the issue that we get vendors that contact me and our colleagues with a cool-looking robot, and then they tell me, hey, could you please tell me what this could do in your warehouse? And it's like, well, that's the wrong approach. You need to figure out what problem are you trying to solve, and then tell me how I can implement. I can't give you just say, that's your robot and it can solve all our problems. So honestly, always look into what do you want to solve, make sure that that product works, and then go into other areas. That was on our unloading solutions, and now the final category that I brought for you today is mobile sortation robotics. You saw it in the sneak peek at the beginning. That's from Adverb Zippy is the product called. So I personally quite like them, and I see more and more products coming to the market, and I think this is an area that will continue to grow because with the problem of not having enough space in our warehouses, this really makes best use of that. So you reduce the area where you need to sort something. Again, reducing errors and inventory accuracy, scanning every item, obviously, and dropping this into the correct bins. So this was an implementation in North America, but we are also implementing that in other regions of the world, so that works pretty nicely. And the next one, some of you might also have seen these mobile robotic, mobile sortation ones as well, quite small one. That was an implementation here in Europe, quite small table, I would say, mesmerizing to look at. We have an implementation currently in South America, where we have 1,500 of these bots on a few tables connected to each other. So you can imagine, unfortunately I wasn't able to bring that video today, but you imagine just the amount of robots driving around with the parcel. It's fun to look at, and similar for like when you've seen an AutoStore for the first time, it's just straight out of sci-fi, I think, and it's really, really cool. So that is my final slide on the videos, and I would like to end my presentation on our vision of the future. So our end-to-end warehouse, you will see some of the technologies popping up that we have for each of the part of the warehouse. The key point is that we don't believe in a dark warehouse. So we don't, for us, humans will always be key. Our technologies that we deploy are there to make the life of our associates easier, put them to right use where the skill set is properly used, and not replace them with technology as such. And I think currently there's a lot of hype going around, and the only area where you get a lot of funding, so humanoids, I think, is contradicting that trend. So that's my personal opinion. Challenging to go into that, and most likely not the right form factor to bring a carton from A to B in a warehouse. So I think that there are other solutions available. And with that, happy to leave that running in the background, and open to questions that were either on Slido or from the audience.
Dankeschön, Paul. Es kamen Fragen rein.
Ja. Machen wir die auf Deutsch oder Englisch?
Anyone here not speaking German, please raise your hand. Okay, so we'll do it in English. What is the scale of a project in which you invest in robotics in Germany?
So say that again?
What is the scale of a project in which you invest in robotics in Germany?
We have, I think, currently 50 projects running in Germany, but that's from very small robotics to also wearables and software solutions. So the larger robotics implementations are probably around 10 this year in Germany.
What kind of AI and data analytics use cases are explored and implemented at DHL?
Yeah, I was expecting that because Gen AI, I think, or AI in general, I mean, is everywhere. It's not only in the navigation and robotic arms, obviously. We have a few that we developed over the last year. So internally, we already have a private version of ChatGPT that we can use for pretty much every task that we would like, also for programming and others. The two main ones that I'm allowed to speak of is one for RFQ, so market requests that we get, where you usually have 40 to 50 page long documents that are unstructured, where you're on page 50, you have a very small table of incorrect data that doesn't match the table on page 60. So usually it would take a lot of time to analyze that one by hand and manually. So we've got a good AI solution behind that. The other one is for our business development and solution design colleagues, where we have a process library internally of processes. So when we implement a new customer, this AI helps us to bring these together into an overall working process.
Which one of these technologies are implemented in the Halle Greenfield?
So in a general greenfield approach or in the Halle Greenfield, I'm not sure that one, to be honest. So greenfield.
Yes.
Not sure.
Maybe the person asking this question can approach you later?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm here all day. Also my contacts, our emails are pretty easy because it's first name and surname at dhl.com. Just contact me after the stage. Happy to discuss that one.
Okay, in the meantime, we'll go on. How did you solve the system topic? Are you working with a central warehouse management system internationally, or how do you solve the orchestration?
All right, so I think two parts to that question. In an ideal world, you would have one warehouse management across the globe for all our warehouses. Obviously, that's not the case. We have a few that we work together. Obviously, Blue Yonder and Manhattan are one of the biggest that we work to. We have a robotic hub orchestration level internally produced, where we have different robotics APIs feeding into that, where we can get some data out of it. And then there are other companies out there like SVT and Sinaus where you can have an orchestration layer going to the full end-to-end supply chain orchestration.
What are your next steps in your Boston Dynamics partnership?
Next steps is to further scale the solution especially in North America. So we have 5 units, I think, deployed. We have a number of warehouses on the go that want it. We also have other regions of the world that are desperately shouting when it's coming there. So we're working on that. Can't confirm the regions just yet because it's a bit complicated to find a proper one. But so scaling that solution for now.
Is automated trailer moving on the yard outside the warehouse of interest to you?
More and more, yes. It's not one of our core areas in automated digitalization. It's from the transport guys. Funnily, over the last 3 or 4 months, I've got numerous requests. So not only there were examples. I think EX9 did it quite well in France last year. We get more and more software trying to look into that. It's becoming an increased interest for our transport colleagues. Yes.
Dann kam eine kurze Deutsche rein. Wie sieht der geplante Einsatz von Atlas bei DHL aus?
Yeah, Atlas, so for those who don't know, Atlas is the humanoid from Boston Dynamics. The old version that was shown at someone on stage yesterday with the hydraulic system is outdated, so their full electronic version. As I said, for me, it's a wrong form factor. Currently, there's no deployment plan because it would be a direct replacement of humans. And putting a 200K robot to do transport a carton from here to there, not sustainable at now. Maybe when costs go down and we better find a better use case.
Okay. Considering the time, I guess we will not make it for further questions. But thank you very much, and feel free to approach Paul afterwards and discuss
happy
the
to do so.
topic.
Thank you all for your attention.
Kleiner Applaus. Dankeschön, Paul.